Good evening. This is Josh from Operational Speed Supply. We got Brian. Um, we got a lot to talk about. Pretty solid weekend. How are you doing tonight, Brian?
Doing pretty good, man.
Good, man. Good. You get any work done on old Zoran this weekend?
No, well, I take that back. I did make some adjustments to the Holly serpentine system or the front drive accessory. I pulled out the old laser tool and went to work on that again, checking some stuff out. Realized it was a little off. The air compressor, AC compressor was a little off, so I made some adjustments on that. It appears to be online now, but uh, I just needed to get me through one or two more events before I get my new kit.
Nice. What are you getting? What'd you end up going with for the new kit?
So, um, for a couple of years now, or ever since I've been dealing with this kit, I was told about Wegner Automotives. Uh, they've got a really nice kit. It's all black anodized, everything. It comes with a water pump, comes with a new, how was it, an ATI dampener, I think it is.
Yeah.
Uh, and so everything, works all together. And everything's all black anodized, even the alternator, the AC compressor, and everything. So, um, looking forward to getting that in, and it's about a 4 week turn time on that, but it's really nice. It looks really good, and right now, um, the uh, the AC compressor and the alternator for this Holly kit set outside the confines of the block, so
Okay.
outside of the heads. And I've always said this damn engine looks like Dumbo. Looks like it's got big ass ears.
It's got them
Uh,
ears, man.
and I've just never been a fan of it. And so with the Wegner stuff, it's all in nice and compact. They also offer, I didn't get it, but they also offer the remote power steering reservoir option. I just went for the attached to keep everything in cleaned up. So looking forward to getting that in. Should have that in about 4 weeks.
Nice. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. That ought to help some of that belt issue you've been fighting.
It's frustrating, man, because uh, you know belts are $50 a piece. Um, the belt I've been using is a Continental belt. Apparently I had used a different brand. I can't remember, but they have the very similar uh, part number from AutoZone, and they're a 100-inch belt, and both of them say 100 inches. But I got one of those. I went and picked up one of the other brand, and it was $30 as opposed to $50. And I put it on, and I could almost put it on uh, without, well, even with it on and the tensioner on it,
Yeah.
I could almost slide it right off. So I don't know if it's a softer material and you could stretch it, but I didn't really care for it, so I took it back and I got the Continental one again. It's a little bit more rigid, and so that shouldn't bounce around.
I do know that there is some variation with how those things are measured. I know that they're supposed to be. The standard generally is the first number is how many ribs it has, and then it'll have a K,
Mm.
and then the second set of numbers is how many millimeters long it is. But there is some variation with how they measure those things. So kind of interesting on that end of the deal, but yeah, that'll be good, man. Tearing up belts is a pain in the freaking butt, and if that happens and you're on track doing 140 going into a turn, on the backstretch of VIR or someplace, man, that could be potentially be a bad day. Losing
Well,
power steering at speed.
yeah, I mean, it did break on me on the speed stop challenge at my last run. I think it was at Charlotte, and I mean it was 60 some miles per hour, getting ready to make a right hand turn. Um, but definitely not 140. But it was still frustrating because you know the deal when there's no belt, it's not turning the water pump, and now
Yep.
your temperature's going to go start skyrocketing. So I didn't
Oh,
even finish. I didn't even finish the run. I just threw my hands out the window and was waving at the guy. He moved the cones, and I just went right back to the trailer.
yeah.
Uh, it's frustrating. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't like having issues. I know issues are part of the game, but that's a simple issue. That's not, something that, should happen. Um, and it's frustrating when, there's an issue, it's out of line somehow. You can't get it in line, and it's potentially unreliable, and you're constantly checking it and stuff like that. So, I mean, out there at Charlotte, I mean, at Clarksville, I had to, mess with it. I had to replace a belt. And so it was a pain in the butt.
No, man. It'll be good to get that thing squared away. Track issues are never fun.
Well, that is going to clean everything up too. It's going to look a lot better.
Oh yeah, that's something that I've considered. I'm still running a small block in mine, and despite the LS crowd, balking about putting an LS in that thing, I think I'm going to stick to the small block route. It makes good power. I love the way the thing runs, and I think the next step in this process is going to be a Dart SHP block, and we're going to build a high Winan 377. It works well for what I want and how it fits in that car, and so I think we'll continue that path. But I've been looking at a belt system from Jones Racing Products. Those guys are really big in the circle track crowd, and they've got some stuff that works really well at high RPMs for a long time. And I think we're going to run that, and it should be a good deal. That'll also allow me to swap out from a Saginaw power steering pump over to a Type 2 pump. Which the big thing with that is that'll allow me to run a turn 1 steering pump, power steering pump, which turn 1, they run a lot cooler than a traditional pump, but they also provide a lot more pressure than a traditional pump. And you get a lot more reliability out of it. So it's something definitely want to move towards with my build. That reliability piece is huge. Nothing worse than starting to lose power steering feeling after the end of the run.
Yeah. When I ran last year, midsummer, with the Motorsport for the Masses group, and they're running hot laps, I bowled the fluid. So that's when I went to a cooler, just a small plate stack cooler. And if you're going to change it all out, if you're doing a bunch of plumbing work, you might as well just go ahead and put one on there, because it's not that expensive, and it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
No, and I'll tell you, it's interesting about the third gen is they came factory with a cooler. It's not like a finned cooler by any means, but from the factory, they came with a line that runs along the entire length of the radiator core support on the bottom of the car. And surprisingly, it's quite effective at cooling down the temperature of that fluid before it gets back into the reservoir. I definitely want to put something with a little more capacity and some fins in it to help dissipate some of that heat, but it's worked pretty well so far.
I was cautioned to get away from the type with the fins.
Yeah.
Got the fins that's round, and it's got all the fins coming off of it, right? And then there's a stack plate, and supposedly they work a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, is the stack plate style. With
okay.
Gotcha. Like a little small miniature radiator or oil cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I've got one for that, for the power steering, and I've got one for the I think the one for the power steering is Durrell. Is that the name? Durrell?
Yeah, Durrell. Yep, they make a lot of those cooling products.
And then the one that I got and I might need to go with a bigger one for the oil cooler, Moshimoto or something mess like that.
Yep.
So
good stuff, man. Good stuff. Do a little recap on this weekend. We took the M86Z out to Nashville Super Speedway to run with the Adrenaline Driving Series guys. Before we get into the racing thing, I want to touch note a good racing friend of ours. We'll leave him anonymous, but he experienced what appeared to be a heart attack after coming off track. It was our second set of runs for the day. They ran us in 2 different run groups, and we were on our second run, our second time running. He was ahead of me in line and came off track. And I came off track, followed suit, and we got into the pits, and he just became unresponsive in his car. We got him out of the car quickly thereafter, and we had to do CPR and mouth-to-mouth to keep him going until the ambulance could get there. And once the EMTs got there, they put the defibrillator on him, and they were able to bring him back, and he is now recovering at a hospital in Nashville. I think the big thing with this is every race you go to, we always think about accidents happening, somebody hitting the wall or, crashing their car or getting hit by a car or something along those lines. That's what everyone's mind is. But you never know what's going to happen. And I think having a baseline level of medical training, I think, is a really good thing for anyone that's promoting events or for anyone that's just participating. Keeping a first aid kit with you in the truck, or your car. Fire extinguishers, that's something that gets overlooked a lot. Keeping a fire extinguisher mounted in your car, just stuff like that. Those are the base model things. And, for us, it helps out that, I've got quite a bit of background in medical training just due to my, my previous work experience in the Army. And, I know you do, Brian, as well. Heck, that was your job for a long time. And so
Yeah.
I can't emphasize that enough. Fortunately, the efforts taken to keep him going were they were useful, and he's still alive today, which is great. So hats off to those that were there to help him and get him back going and making sure that he is still here today with us. So we hope for a quick recovery on that. So you just wanted to kind of touch base on that. I think it's an important thing for us to keep in mind as we get out there and race and we do these things. Hot days, temperature climbs, stay hydrated. People don't realize that not drinking water or drinking sodas and things like that when it's 100 degrees outside and you're inside of a 140-degree car, that'll dehydrate you quick. So, keep yourself hydrated when you're running. All the little things, they stack up. Eating, making sure you've eaten. That's another huge impact. So I wanted to share some of that. And again, thankfully, he is recovering. And hopefully it will be a quick recovery and we'll get back on track and racing again together. So,
Josh, we got anybody watching?
Yeah, we got a couple in there.
Okay. I only asked because it never popped up as that we were live. So I was just checking.
Yeah. It's showing we're up. Let me, so yeah. Let's see what we got.
So I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
But that's on this gentleman, it's really awesome. I think it's due to the location and the paramedics on site. Weren't there paramedics on site, correct?
Yes, they did have paramedics on site.
Yeah, see, and a lot of the events that we go to, we don't have paramedics on site. So that's something. If you're gonna experience that, he picked the right spot, if you will, to do that, considering they were right there.
All right, hey, let's go ahead and pause real quick. Let me reset this link. I do think we are online with YouTube. We have not been online with the OSS page on Facebook. Let me go ahead and try to redo this real quick. Let's see if we can fix this.
Yeah, because I didn't see it pop up.
Okay, save. Yeah, it says it's been sending data. Let me try to work this real quick. Technical difficulties, they're never fun. Yep, it is not connecting to that. All right, so Brian, there we go. All right, I think we just got in line. All right, let's take a look at this. All right.
Usually I get a notification on Facebook saying, there it is.
Yeah, we back up.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay. Hey, for all Facebook family, we have been having a little bit of technical difficulty, but we are now on there, online and live. Basically just talking, we started wrapping up for this last week's event. Wanted to share with everybody, that there was an off-track incident when we were racing down at the Adrenaline Driving Series. And basically the big thing is that, maintaining awareness of your surroundings, paying attention to things. A fellow racer of ours had a heart condition that something happened, and we had to respond to get him out of the car. And there were some people there that were able to help perform CPR and mouth to mouth on him, and they were able to keep him going until the EMTs arrived. The EMTs arrived, and they put him on a defibrillator, and they got his heart going again. And he is recovering now in a hospital in Nashville. And so the big thing we were kind of going over is make sure, drinking water throughout the day when you're racing, having some sort of a first aid kit with you in the car or in your trailer or somewhere nearby, fire extinguishers, things like that, maintaining that awareness of your surroundings and what you have with you available. We always worry about crashing the car or somebody getting hit potentially in the pits or whatever, when we go to these races. But there are other times when you got to consider other things that might happen. 100-degree day, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Those are some big issues that can potentially be fatal if not taken care of. So we were talking about that a little bit and getting ready to recap the rest of the weekend. We took the M86Z up this weekend. We did some adjustments on suspension before we ran our first Clarksville Autocross, and the adjustments worked really well. So we get down to Nashville, and one of the big things we were looking at is we reset the shocks, put them at mid-range across the board to kind of get a baseline, and went out and started running some laps. And the course was pretty quick. Fastest cars out that day were running in the 50 time frame. We got down to about a 54, I think it was a 54.3, 54.4, something like that. Car was running good. It felt good. There was still some push in it. We just still run, had a little bit of issue. We tried to run second gear. It really didn't work out that well. It was a little boggy out of a couple of the corners. And so we made a shock adjustment and came back out after the break. And we were able to click off 3:53.1 laps or 4:53.1 laps in a row, which was I've never been that consistent before. I felt pretty happy about the fact that I was that consistent. But one thing to note though is that the car felt very smooth, and I don't know that car had any more time left in it, at the event. So I think where we're at this point is we're going to try to add a little bit more spring across the board, front and rear shocks and front and rear springs. And then we're going to look at going to a set of Viking adjustables all the way around to add a little bit more range of adjustment on that car. Add a little more front camber, and I think we can get those times down even quicker. We've got it dialed in at where it's at now, and it's running very well. So it was a really good event. There was a huge showing there. It was a joint drift and autocross event. They used part of the road course for Nashville Super Speedway for the drift side of the house, and then the autocross side had a big paddock in the infield. It was a great course. The Adrenaline Driver Series, those guys make a really good course. It was fun. It was challenging. There are multiple track type services, and then there's some transitions that you had to kind of work through, which were once you figured it out at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun. So all in all, a good day of racing. We were able to really learn some good stuff about that car, and it's exciting to get ready to roll into the next the next event coming up in 2 weeks up here at Clarksville Autocross. Hey Mark, what's going on, man? How are you? But yeah, brings into the next topic. Clarksville Autocross, May 1st. It's our second event of the year. Last week we held our first event, and Jeremy Brown brought his Corvette and come out and cleaned house. It was a solid event, and it was we had a good course. We had a really good turnout. Chris Wheatcraft came out in his Camaro, his second gen, and he dang near had the field wrapped. And that's a rowdy car, I'll tell you that much right now. He gets it after that thing. He tears it up. He was one of the fastest guys again at Adrenaline.
Yeah, he's Mr. Consistency out there, man. I think his afternoon runs was they were 0.001 off of his dial-in speed or dial-in.
Yeah, he pulled off a 1,000th from his dial-in. Yep, that's right. He was right on the money with that thing. So it was a fun event. It was really good to watch. It kind of gave us a glimpse of what the rest of the season is going to be like as we keep working towards this shootout that, in this end of the year championship that we're going to have in October.
I wonder if he was if he had reached the peak of that car as well that day, because that car really didn't get any faster throughout the day, because he dialed it in and was that consistent from his morning runs. And I would think that as you learn the track a little bit more, and as the track gets a little bit warmer and the tires get a little more heat in them, they would the car would respond a little bit better. So I'm just curious if there was, if he had anything more in that car, or if he was giving it all it had.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because I definitely think that he might have been able to click off a little more time in a couple spots on that course, because it did start to, the sun came out and it got slick towards the end of the day. The track started to kind of go away. But I will tell you this. I watched him run in Nashville this past weekend, same car, and he was running right there with 50-second lap times. I want to say he was probably one of the top 3 fastest cars for the entire day. But I think one of the things that we noticed with Clarksville and the speedway that we run at is it's a smaller course, and gearing plays a huge role. There are some tracks that gearing will dictate how quick you really truly can be. When we run up at UMI, I run into that a lot. If I run second gear, I have a lot of trouble in certain spots because the car bogs down and the RPMs dip too low coming out. If I run first gear, I'm bouncing off the rev limiter for half the track. And so, that does have an impact. And I know at Clarksville, he was bouncing off the rev limiter quite a bit. However, in Nashville, he was able to shift his car into second gear right out of the gate and stay in second the entire time. And it worked really well for him. So I definitely think there are certain places that gearing will have an effect. And I'll tell you, a Z06 Corvette, the way those things are geared, and that's what Jeremy Brown was running. He's running, I think it's an 07. I mean, those things will spin to $7,000, and you'll be able to do 60 miles an hour in first gear in that car. So I think that gearing has an impact, and you can see some of these cars that get out there and they're right in that sweet spot where they're not too close to the rev limiter until like the tail end of the lights at Clarksville. They're going to be some of the faster cars there. So it'll be interesting to see how the next race pans out. And see where that kind of goes, because a couple of our regulars that were there last year were not able to make it, still getting their cars lined up. One of those guys, Joey Foster, he's got that awesome little Nissan or Datsun B210 sedan. He just did a V6 swap on it, and he's getting it dialed in. I cannot wait to see that car back out there, because last year he ran really well. He ended up last event of the year. He finished second in the rear-wheel drive class, 4th overall for the last event as far as time goes. So
nice.
It was a pretty exciting event, that last one of the year. He was getting after it in that thing. It's kind of crazy too. You look at it; he's still running 13-inch wheels on it, man. They're tiny. Yeah,
I'm looking at maybe going out to the May 1st Adrenaline Driving Series event there at the Smoky Stadium in Kodak. I've got a doctor's appointment that Monday, so I may have to drive out on Saturday, and then because it's a Sunday event, so I may have to drive out on Sunday or Saturday, stay the night, and then just drive back after the event and get back late. What time did the event end for you guys? What time were you about wrapped up?
About 5 o'clock. I want to say, so track was cold at 5 o'clock. We got a lot of runs in. They ended up canceling the shootout due to the situation that happened, so there was no shootout. I ended up loading up about 4 o'clock. I'd gotten everything that I was trying to get out of the day, and anymore I was just burning up tire, which isn't a bad thing by any means, but I want to conserve a little bit. We got 2 big events coming up we got Clarksville Autocross, in 2 weeks, and then we got Good Guys Nashville, which will be the same location, Super Speedway. And that one's coming up in 12 through 14 May.
At least you were able to get there and get an understanding of that surface.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I don't know how the Good Guys setup is going to be. Good Guys generally runs a smaller course, a lot tighter course, but those transitions become even more difficult to manage on a smaller course. You're going from a slick oiled asphalt to a little bit more aged asphalt. That has a huge impact on how well your car is going to hold. So it'll be an interesting event to see how they set that up.
Hey, we got Webby's Customs tuning in out of Virginia. He's got a pretty nice blue '69 Camaro he runs. You've probably seen him at some of the UMI events a few times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And that's good stuff. So the other thing, we got some exciting news. So we showcased the 71 Ford F100 we're building right now. Braden has done quite a bit of work on that thing. He's got the front torn apart, and he's getting ready to pull the engine to clean it up and get ready to push it out. But when we get that thing finished, we're gonna put that thing up. And exciting news is that we were able to find an already V8 350 swapped S10, 89 S10. It was Braden and I's dad, and it was his truck, and Braden's going to end up getting that thing. And so look for that thing at an autocross up in the Pacific Northwest soon. When we get that thing, it's going to get the full UMI treatment in the front suspension and get dialed in instead of Viking coilovers and UMI control arms and all the good stuff. And then we'll end up running Willwood brakes on that thing, and it's going to be an exciting truck. Those little S10s are they handle, so that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I love those old square body S10s. They're the best.
I know it, man. That's going to be awesome. We're in the middle of trying to name it. We've thrown a couple ideas out there. With my Camaro, we've called it the M86Z. Kind of going with the military theme. We're thinking about maybe naming the S10 the F10.
The F10. Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what we can get with that thing. It's going to be an exciting build. I'm getting ready to put a set of AFR heads on the Camaro, and I'm going to send him. I got a set of 200cc aluminum heads that are on mine now that we're going to end up putting on that. We're going to get a new set of pistons. We're going to bump the compression up on that thing to about 10.5 to 1, and then he should have a strong motor in that thing. It should run really well. So
yeah, that's I think that's my next big upgrade is heads and a new cam. We talked about it earlier.
Oh yeah, we'll get that thing set up, man. It's
maybe turn a little bit more than the 6800 that it's turning.
Man, you're lucky to be spinning 68. I'm still struggling with hitting the rev limiter at 65, but the cam and heads that I'm getting ready to put on it, I should be able to carry it about $7,000, which should help at some of these other tracks that I'm running out of RPM at.
Yeah, I think if I could turn 7 or maybe even 72, depending on the heads and stuff, get me up there at about that 60 mile per hour first gear mark. I'm at mid 50s right now. So
well, that's where I'm at too. I don't think I'm there. I'm about 40, I think 42 maybe in first gear. But I wanna make the move. Right now I'm running an LT1 T56 out of a 95 Camaro, and I think the next move with that is going to be to go to I want to go to a TKX in that thing. It's a little bit lighter transmission, a little bit smaller footprint, 5-speed, and it's got a really good first gear. That the first gear change should allow me to get that 60 in first gear with a little bit more RPM. So
what are you running for rear gear?
Right now it's got a set of 342s in it with a true track. And then, but my first gear is a 297 first gear. So that year of T56, it's the strongest of the LT1 style T56s. However, it does have that 297 first gear, which puts it at a disadvantage to some of the others as far as trying to run it for what we're using it for the autocross and things like that. So
gotcha.
It'll be fun, man. We'll get that thing squared up and see what we can do, So, but go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was just say I think you can get like a Magnum with a 226 first gear, I think, or something like that.
And there's Tim Gordon coming on there, race car talk. What's going on, Tim? Yeah, there are quite a few different options. The biggest thing I like about that TKX is its size. You're looking about 125 pounds for a Magnum dry weight, whereas a TKX you're at about 85. So that weight savings is huge. And honestly, I mean, I drive my car on the street, but the only time I'm ever in 6 gears, I'm doing 80 down the highway.
Exactly. I'm rarely in that because anything, 65, it doesn't, sixth gear doesn't like it at 65 miles per
Oh
hour.
no, it'll sit there. It's herky jerky, man. I got too much cam to run down that low on RPM.
Yeah. So
That's good stuff. Well, good stuff, man. It's going to be an exciting couple of weeks. We got a weekend off next weekend, and then back at it on 1st of May. So it'll be good getting out there, getting back after it. Yeah. Any of you guys out there in the watching? You got any questions? Got anything you want us to bring up?
So speaking of engines, we do another announcement is the hookup we have on engines. I call it a hookup or the connection, whatever you want to call it. You want to get into that a little bit, Josh?
Yeah. So a couple things. We got set up with Wegner products, and not only do they serpentine belts, but they also make really good engines, mainly LSLT style motors. They've got everything from full turnkey LS packages with a Whipple 3-liter supercharger on top to they got a 434 LS7 package that they offer, as well as some dirt track motors. These dirt track motors are really good for what we're doing because they're designed to spin at a high RPM all day long, and so it's something we can offer that way. The other thing is a little bit less expensive line of motor. We also have we are set up with ATK performance engines, and so they have got everything from an turnkey LS, small block, Ford and Chrysler motors. So you guys in Ford land, you want to run a very well put together 351 Windsor, we can do that, or 302, we can do that. 347 strokers, we can do that. Just give us a shout and let us know what you're looking for, and we can definitely get you set up on that. It's exciting time in the OSS land and in the growth that we've experienced, and being able to bring those things into our customers. I'm going to highlight the fact too that we got our wheels, Forge Line, Forge Star, Weld, CCW, Momo. Give us a call and we'll get you set up. We can get you a custom set of wheels set up on your car so you can run the 18x11 and the 315s all the way around, and we'll get the car squared away. So, but yeah, other than that, I think that was about it, man.
I don't know anything specific off the top of my head.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. But hey, thank you guys for joining in and hanging out with us as we talk what's going on in the OSS land. We're excited for what this summer is going to bring. So, as always, if you need anything, please give us a shout. OSSparts.com, or find us on Facebook at OSS Parts and Instagram. Look for us at the track near you. We're excited to get back after it. So we'll haul at you guys soon. Next event, yeah, Mark just popped that up and just came through. Yeah. Next event, we're Clarksville Autocross is going to be taking place May 1st. And then we'll be at Good Guys Nashville May 12th through 14th. Brian's taking Zoran out to the Smokies for Adrenaline Driving Series event May 1st. And then moving into June, we got a little bit of break between our events. June 12th is the next Clarksville Autocross.
I'll be at the Team Cross at UMI.
Yep, Team Cross is going to be going on that. I think that the weekend after. I think Team Cross is a Father's Day weekend.
Correct.
And then no, Mark, no booth at Good Guys. We're going to focus on track activities, but we're going to have our pop-up set up, and we'll be having a good time there. So come by. We'll have cold water and Gatorades. So come and hang out with us, buddy. But moving into July, we've got July 10th event. So we're both going to be at Camaro Fest, which is 7 through 9 July, running both days of autocross up at Camaro Fest. And then from there, we're going to move on to Clarksville Autocross, which is July 12th. And that's the exciting event for us here. We have teamed up with AS Motorsports and Tomo Racing to bring driver education, driver's ed, down to Clarksville Autocross. And so that will be an exciting event where it's going to be a joint event with them. And it will be a autocross / drift style event where if you're a drifter, come on out. You're going to get style points for drifting, and it'll be a good time. So right on, Tim. It's good to see we'll hope to come out full force to Camaro Fest, man. We went out there last year and ran really well. Last year I was able to post top 5 time of the day. I was 5th fastest overall for the entire day in the 3rd gen, which was pretty exciting considering the 5th and 6th gens that were there, and there was even a Z06 vet that was out there running. So it'll be awesome.
At Camaro Fest? How's that?
Yeah,
work?
there was somebody there. There was one guy there with a Z06 vet. I don't know that somebody's friend or whatnot, but he came in and yeah, it was a good time. But I'll tell you though, it was fun being the only 3rd gen autocrossing and being able to post a 5th fastest time of the day. That was pretty cool. Those 5th.
Justin, what's going on, buddy? Justin Nawn is in the yellow car.
Oh man, I love it. Vector Force Industries.
That turbo powered.
That thing's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that heavy car, man. He wheels it around UMI like it's nobody's business.
Oh, I know, man. It makes our cars look slow.
I know. It's one of those ones that you keep your eye on and you keep trying to catch. You know, it's trying to pick them off little by little. You know,
I know, man.
Like I was telling the crew out there at Clarksville. You know, when you're new into it, you spot somebody, you know, and you say, I want to be as fast as them.
Oh, Brian is cold. He's cold as ice. We're gonna start calling him Iceman.
So,
Eric, we hope to see you out there too, buddy. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time this year. We've got a lot of good stuff planned, and you know, racing with a lot of these folks. You know, Tim, Justin, you know, Eric, all you guys out there, Mark, Junior from Turn 1. It's a blast every time, and I'll tell you the post race activities are just as good a time as the on track activities. And one of the cool things that, you know, there's never a moment in which you know, people aren't willing to help out. Yeah. Show them a real car. So Chris Brown's one of our operational group drivers. We just brought on a couple of weeks ago, and he is a diehard blue oval guy, which, you know, I'm a fan of all cars, but
we'll put a bow tie on his Mustang.
Yeah, well, you know what, you know how you make a Mustang fast, right?
You put LS in
it. So
nobody.
Oh, I love it. Chris, I'll tell you what, man. We'll co-drive the Camaro. I don't know. I told somebody else we co-drive. We're gonna have like 4 people in my car. Just help throw in some money on tires, man. I don't care. We'll run it.
Well, yeah, Chris, come on down. You can drive the 3rd gen, and we get Hector out there. I'll let him drive mine.
Yeah, no kidding. So Hector's running a little Miata, and he let me take that thing out for a run 2 weeks ago. And I'll tell you right now, I can see why everybody wants to get in Miata. That was unbelievable. That car had great.
Well, they're a lot of fun. I mean, I drove one last year, and it's a big momentum car. Once you get her, you know, once you get them mice wound up, as long as you keep them wound up, they keep running.
Oh yeah, man, that thing you get that thing about 5,000, 6,000 RPMs and just keep it there. It was fun too because there's places I had to let off the Camaro. I could just keep that thing flat-footed the whole time. I'm like, this thing won't give up.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh man, but I'll tell you though, we'll go ahead and get ready to hop off here. But I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out with us, both at the events and here online too. It's we try to do this every week, let you guys know what's going on in our world, and hopefully you guys share what's going on in your world. You know, it's good to maintain this. You know, our biggest thing is wanting to have that sense of community and sense of friendship that comes with racing. And I'll tell you, I've been 19 years in the Army. Brian retired after 24, and the only place I have found the kind of camaraderie and friendship outside of the Army that I've experienced in the Army is the racing community. So I definitely appreciate you guys joining on and supporting us and just hanging out with us, you know, bare minimum, just hanging out with us, you know, so, but on that note, we'll go ahead and sign off. Again, thank you guys for joining us, and Brian, always good hanging out, bud.
Yeah, man. Good talking to you. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
All right. Take care, guys.
See ya.